Transactions on 390 work are monies that your business made based off the products that you sold or services rendered. And on 390, we give the provision of being able to manage or add all of these transactions for analytical purposes here on the system. All right. So if you go to transactions, you can find them in the sales aspect here. Under sales, you see transactions. If you can't see this, then the organization member would have to go to the super admin, would have to go to the App Store, then go and look out for transactions, bottom right here, then give access. So in my case, now my executive assistant has access to transactions, can create, can update, can view all transactions. She won't be able to delete, she won't be able to view analytics and deleted transactions and manage settings. So you could do this for every member of your organization. Okay, so going straight to transactions, there are a few tabs here to look at. So mine, as usual, are the transactions that I have created or have been assigned to me. All of the transactions that have happened by everybody in the organization. So in the case of several sales agents, each sales agent will be able to see all of their transactions in mine. And you as the CEO or business owner will be able to see everything in all. And there were some transactions I created earlier and I deleted. So you'll be able to see them in the deleted. So I deleted some transactions so you could see them reflected here and their amounts and all. And the next part will be receipts. So the receipts of those transactions are still here because even though they're deleted, they're still actual receipts that were being sent out to the businesses or rather to the customers. And the analytics in this case, because no transactions are in all, we've deleted those transactions. So they are not meant to show in the analytics at all. So number of transactions, 0, revenue and all 0 because nothing is there. Then settings, there are a few settings we've done here. You could just play around this based on your organization. If you want to include discounts or taxes per item, you could just select all of those. If you deal with shipping fees, you could select that. If you want to carry out transactions without explicitly creating customers and assigning those transactions to customers, in the case where it's more like a POS system, people just come in, they buy and log transactions. This just enables this so that you'll be forced to create a customer or select a customer when you're adding transactions. Then this setting automatically sends the receipts to the customer. Then all products sold must come from the inventory. This means that whenever you're adding items in these transactions and their physical products, those products must be linked to an inventory location. If they are not, the transactions will not continue. So that would help you make sure you don't sell what you don't have. And also businesses set this up to ensure that strict inventory control. We have other things that's linked to your email, the email receipts that we send to the customer once they have bought from us and we've logged the transaction. 390 automatically, based on this setting here, sends the receipts to the customer by email. We're still working on WhatsApp integration and text messages and all of that. So if you preview the mail, this is what the mail looks like. The organization name, hello, the customer name, we'll auto fill that on the back end. Then the text to thank them, then you can view the receipts. I'll show you how the receipts looks like and all of that as well. All right, so let's just quickly, and for labels, so labels, I've already defined some labels here. You can just add as many labels as you'd want in your organization. So just go here, add, and add as many sources of where those transactions come in your business. So most businesses transact maybe on WhatsApp, Instagram, and website. So we have some of these things. You can add yours if they're not there, yours. And let's go to creating a transaction. So let me just go to new transaction. If I do that, you'd see here you can select the customer name, or you could add a new customer on the fly. This will bring up the interface of adding a customer. You can do that on the fly and to assign that transaction to that customer, or you could just search. I have the same customer that I created earlier, Chinonso. And the payment method in this case, there are three different options. Let's say transfer, and it transferred to our official bank details. And this was, let's say, an Instagram transaction. We want to be able to send the other tracking link to the customer and the transaction receipt to the customer as well. And I could just add the item. So what item before this video, I already added this item called simple products. So not to take so much time, I'll still work on a separate video on how to add products for your business. So let me click on that, new products and location. In this case, we don't have inventory locations yet. Not created in the inventory video, would add inventory locations, then create transactions that will link to the inventory. So when I added the simple products, I defined a cost price of the product as 40,000 and a selling price of 60,000. You can, at the point of adding a transaction, you can as well come here to change that cost price and selling price as of the time when this item is being added for that transaction. This setting or this functionality comes in handy for people that have very high pricing volatility, where today the cost price might be lesser and tomorrow it might be higher. And instead of going to the central point of product to be changing the price, you could just add them on the fly when you are adding the product. So let's say we are selling two of those products, simple products, and for 120,000. And we get this red notification that says no location selected, and that's fine because we've not selected an inventory location that this product will be coming out from. We would do that when we deal with inventory. But in the case of a service, you don't need any inventory location, and this would not show at all. On the bottom right here, we have some other things based on additional information about this transaction, which are discounts, taxes, and delivery fee. So the taxes and the work, they have this toggle where you can set the amount outrightly. So if I want to say I'm giving discount of 5,000, that 5,000 will be deducted from the total and will give the subtotal here. So I can decide to go with that, or I can change that to a percentage of the amount. So if I want to give, for example, 10%, which is minus 12,000, which is a lot. So I could leave that and it would do the automatic calculation here for total, or I could just maybe use, let's say 5% discount. Then for tax, let's say tax, I want to give a 7.5% tax. So you can see the tax is an addition and the discount is a subtraction. And that calculation has already been done down here. So to round this off, let's do shipping fee as 2,000 Naira, for example, and that rounds it off to 125. We have the option of fully or partly paid. So if you say, or if you want to record that the customer paid some amount of money instead of the entire full one, you could just come here and type the amount the customer paid. But in our case, we'll come back to that when we're dealing with accounts receivables. Or in this case, let's just go on with fully paid transaction. All right, now that that transaction has been, can look at it, I think everything is fine. Then I can create the transaction and can proceed to creating the transaction. Upon doing that, the transaction has been logged into our system. This is a transaction interface for this particular transaction. And we already have receipts automatically generated for this transaction. So if the customer paid instrumentally, let's say 2 or 3 times, each of those times will create different receipts and we can have all of those receipts down here. But in most cases, you just find one if they paid outrightly. So you could copy or open the link. So if I open the link, it takes me to where that receipt lies, and I can copy this link and share with the customer. And automatically 390 already sends this receipt to the customer to their email. These are some of the settings that we set earlier. Every form of information about this would be here. All right, so if I go back here to the 390 interface, we can see here that the cost price being 40,000 and the selling price being 60,000. So the first one here is the selling price, 120,000, and the second one is the cost price. So we've already defined or calculated the profits. That's 120,000 minus 80,000, giving 40,000. So on each item in a transaction, 390 is automatically going to give you the profit variance on each of them, and that information will be here as well. Okay. So if I go to my analytics, I can see now that that information has been updated. So as many transactions that keep coming here, the analytics page would always be updating with the right information and doing all of the calculations for you. So we sold 120,000 and revenue was 125. Then shipping fees 2,000, taxes it's 1,008.4, 6,000 discounts. All of these calculations are there. It tells you the product that is being sold the most, the salesperson that is selling the most, how much. In some cases, you want to do some quick calculation of how much you've made minus shipping fee minus taxes. It gives you that information here as well. So let's look at that. So yes, profit, costs, all of this information will be calculated for you. Then you can even know how much you're making per location. If location has been selected as per inventory location, you can know how much you are selling and your profits per location as well. So handy analytics have been done here, and you can change this based on any time frame. It could be all transactions today. If you look at yesterday, no transactions were carried out yesterday. You can go to custom, and in custom, you get to select the time start and time end, let's say this period, 27 days, I've only carried out one transaction, and I can change that. And if I want to go to all time or even this year, I can just do all of that. If I go to all time, it gives me all transactions that have happened in the business in the all time period. Lastly, if you go to the customer's information, this particular customer, you see the transaction created here. And this is the total amount the customer has ever bought from you in your business. This information can come in handy a whole lot for that customer. All right, see you in the next video.